Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Next Level Real Talk Podcast, where we have conversations on the journey of personal transformation and the pursuit of lasting peace and happiness with Sheldon and David. And welcome to another episode of Next Level Real Talk Podcast with Sheldon and David. Hey, hey, hey.
Yeah, glad you're listening in. Hope you had a great week and hope you have that smile on.
So, yes, we appreciate everybody who's listening in and hoping that you're getting something out of these shows. We're having a good time
Yep.
um, putting them on and figuring out what to talk about and getting on here.
Yeah,
You
and
know, we've
some of it's like real, as I said, next level real talk. It's just we're talking about things that are happening in our lives and friends' lives. And last week was about me, going through the stuff with my dad. And we just keep talking about hopefully somebody out there is hearing that. Or you hear it and like, hey, I heard this on that podcast. You might not realize it for a year from now that you heard something. So
yeah.
hopefully you're taking it in and enjoying it, just enjoying. Hopefully you like our voices because that's what we're doing. We
And we
appreciate
are
you listening
planning on
in.
lining up some more guests, so we will get
Yeah.
into that soon. But David, you
Yes.
had been before we started recording, you were talking about, it's been just a week or 2 after your father's passing and,
Yeah.
some stuff
Hmm.
going on with your body and stuff like that. I think it's worth talking about. So,
Okay. That'd be good.
yeah.
Yeah. So I would say I took Dad's passing well because we knew he was 92 years old, had a full life, and it was his time to go, and so we were okay with that. Um, and you know how we always say we're okay, but sometimes we're really not. We don't realize that we're not okay in certain ways, and so it's funny because some of my friends they go, "Hey, how you doing?" I go, "I'm okay." They look at me in the eye, and go, "No, how are you doing?" They made me stop and go, "Okay,
Yeah,
stop. I know you're okay, but how are you doing?" So there's a
yeah.
big difference. And so I have really been doing well, but I started realizing, I'm gonna give a little quick um blurb. Uh for the Xavier Swim and Dive team, we do what's called Swim for the Light, which is a mental health. We raise money for mental health for Valley Wise Foundation, which is for their first episode of mental health. When they have that first episode, how can we help them? Um, and it's funny because we're in the middle of that campaign, and I've talked about it before. And as I'm going through all this stuff with Dad, it's just okay doing paperwork. Got to get this stuff signed. Got to get this stuff. Call Social Security. Call veterans. Call these Department of Transportation. Call elections. It's like okay, yeah, I got to do the paperwork. Blah blah blah. Just time consuming. Which, by the way, I had 2 days of bereavement pay, so I was like, hey. So I took that and did all that paperwork. But it takes time, and so I didn't realize how much that was compacting me inside. Because I was fine. Okay, I'm healthy. I'm okay. I can move on.
You
But I
think
was
you're
getting real.
fine.
Yes, yes, exactly. And so I'm really, really tired. And I'm like, going, God, why am I tired? I'm sleepy and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm working out. Um, and so one time my brother called, he started talking about celebration of life. He goes, oh, we should do a 21 gun salute. We should get a flag. The veterans of foreign wars. They can do this. They can do that. I go, Bob, stop, stop, stop. I don't mean any disrespect, but right now I cannot do that. My brain is so overloaded right now. And it's funny because it wasn't like I was doing a lot, but if I were to take on doing several more things, I was just going to do halfway for everything. And so I was like, no, just stop. So I was kind of proud that because I've gone through it before. I was proud that I saw that. I said, stop. I need to stop doing so much and
Mhm.
just do little pieces at a time.
We literally talked about
And
that in the last show, right? About,
yeah,
boundaries,
yeah,
healthy boundaries, saying
the
no.
boundaries. Yeah, we talked. It was receive stuff, set your boundaries, and be present.
Mhm.
And if I was doing
So you
swim for the
practice your
light,
practice.
yes, so it actually worked. Yay! Did my own stuff. I hope you guys got it too, because I'm practicing it live. Um, because with swim, with work, with swim for the light, with coaching, just regular coaching, and then with dad stuff going on, that is a lot, but I can handle that. I can always handle that. But it was on overload because there was so much now. And
And the emotional toll of losing your father, period.
yes,
I mean, it
yeah.
doesn't
Even though I
matter
was a
like, "Oh, I
yeah,
knew it was okay, and he lived a long life." That's all these mental things that
mhm,
logically tell you it's gonna be okay. It doesn't mean you're not emotionally still sad for
yes,
the loss, traumatized, feeling all these things that you're processing on this emotional bodily level that your mind might say you're fine, but everything
hmm,
else is still not quite
but
coped yet.
internally, it's still kind of
Yeah.
it's going. And one thing that was really really intense. So Sunday after um, church, or during church, I told Ashley, my daughter, I said, "Hey, I'm gonna come over for lunch and play one game with Aria, my granddaughter, and I go, then I'm gonna go home. One board game. I'm gonna go. I can't. I'm just so tired. I don't know what's going on. I need to go home and sleep. I gotta find what's wrong." So I go home, or go there to eat, do one board game, come home, and I slept for 3 hours. Just laid down on the couch, and boom, 3 hours later, I woke up like, "Whoa! Hope I get to sleep tonight because that's a lot of hours." So
You're
that
like,
night, normal time, went to sleep. So what are you gonna say?
that's yeah, that's almost like almost your whole night's worth of sleep for you.
Yeah, right.
3
It's
hours.
like, oh no, what am I gonna do tonight? It's like, oh, so go to sleep at normal time, fall asleep, wake up for work Monday. So I'm still just tired, but that's that inside going, not knowing it. So I get to work, and Michael Perry, God bless you, Michael Perry. Call him Dr. Perry now because he kind of gave me some stuff I'm talking about right now. So shout out to Michael, a colleague at North High School. Um, he walks up and he's just checking in. Hey, how you doing? The usual. How you doing? I go, I'm good. He goes, you okay? And I go, yeah, I'm okay. And I go, Michael, I'm having a problem. I don't know if I have COVID because I'm so tired. I go, I'm sleeping. I'm getting everything done. And then he's a science teacher. So he goes, okay, I'm going to go into my science teacher mode. And so he's actually runs our IB program. So he's a coordinator because he's out of the classroom, but he went back into teacher mode. I guess we always do that because I'm doing that now, huh? So go back into teacher mode. He goes, okay.
Once a teacher, always a teacher.
Amen, brother. I realize, like, wait a minute, I do the homework now. He's doing that. Oh, yep, we're doing the same stuff. So he he goes, here's what's going on with your body. He goes, I hope I get these words right. Sorry, Michael, if I don't. Dopamine, the hormone dopamine. I don't know. When you're stressing out, he goes, and you've been stressing out for at least a month, not major, not like stress, but you've been a lot going.
Was
He
he
goes, and you
saying
had to
dopamine or cortisol, by the way?
cortisol is the other one. Cortisol is the one he talks about later, but
Okay.
dopamine, I think, is the one that's the and because this is the stress hormone.
That's
So
cortisol.
is that cortisol?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dopamine
The-
makes you feel good.
okay, so then they're opposite. Okay. So he goes, so what you've been doing is you've been going, but not over stressing. It's just you're going, a lot of things with your dad. Because when you had to take your dad away from the apartment into, a private facility, that was really hard. So your levels were way high.
Mhm,
And so your body's going, even though outside you're okay, the inside you're asleep, but the inside's still going. He
mhm,
goes, and that's going to take several weeks to get rid of. He goes,
mhm,
it's in your body. It will take a while to get rid of. So just accept that. But he goes, there's another hormone that kind of balances that, which is the positive, the dopamine, maybe that's what it is balances that. And so here's your homework. Here's what you got to do. He goes, I want you to go home, after dinner. He goes, I want you to get a uh, little thing of Ben and Jerry's ice cream. He had me sold at Ben and Jerry's ice cream, by the way. And he goes, I want you to sit on the couch and watch a TV show. Your favorite TV show. It's got to be something comedy you can laugh at, or just a good
chill.
show. Not something that's stressed out or makes you kind of think and be upset. He goes, or watch a movie that makes you laugh and giggle or something. He goes, and that's what I want you to do tonight. I go, whatever. Okay. I happen to have half of a Ben and Jerry's in my freezer, so okay, this works out well. So I sat, had dinner, sat down in front of the TV and started eating the ice cream. And I watched a TV show I like. It's an hour long episode, so probably 45 minutes on because I recorded it. So I'm talking 3 shows. I was like, oh, wow, time to go to bed. So I was relaxed and just
Mhm,
didn't worry about school, didn't worry about dad, didn't worry about anything. The next morning, I was like, wow, kind of feels good, but I'm still kind of tired. So I did the same thing Tuesday. And it's like I started feeling things better and better. I'm like, wow. So the doctor's orders were good because I started feeling it, and like now I can feel a little bit of because a lot of things happened last couple of days. That level going back up, it's like okay, so I need to take some time for me, So now I'm taking more time. Like I'm not used to sitting in front of the TV and just sitting there. I'm
yeah,
always doing something.
yeah,
It's like busy work.
yeah,
It's hard. I'm
yep,
not gonna lie to you. It's hard to sit and go
yep,
just watch TV. Don't think about anything. Don't do anything. Um, but that was the process that allowed me, and I'm still in the middle of it. I'm not
mhm,
done. It's going to be a while, but getting that level to cool down.
yep,
And the problem was it was in my brain. The reason I talked about
yep,
Swim for the Life and Valley Wise is because mentally I was having a hard time.
yep,
It's like I can't take that comment. I can't take this situation. I can't take, and I was like, whoa, step back. It's okay.
Yeah.
You know? So now, and so, and not to brag, but I was very proud of myself to see that
Mm,
and be able to go, it's okay.
yeah.
Stop.
Heart
Just breathe. Is this something I need to really worry about or something I can do later?
yeah, Heart Math
So,
talks about when you're, when we do the meditation that we talk to Golden Sun and you're connecting into the heart, the part of the meditation that comes from Heart Math is the breathing in and out through your heart. And they've done studies on that, that just focusing out on this chest area
mhm.
brings your, focal awareness to the heart space, uh, releases atrial peptide, which is a hormone that backs off cortisol. So there's a guy who did a whole TED talk and he talks about that. He goes, cortisol is
Mm,
a stress hormone, atrial peptide neutralizes it. And he goes, and when you do that heart-based meditation, they've actually studied it that it releases atrial peptide and it really backs off cortisol. So the meditation, that's one of the reasons that Golden Sun meditation is really, really effective at neutralizing, right? Just relaxing is another way, right? That's a way,
yeah.
just sitting, chilling. The other
Yep.
thing I want to say is that our society is so focused on doing, right? That's what
Yep.
you were literally describing. I'm normally
Mhm.
doing stuff all the time. Even when I'm quote unquote relaxing, I'm doing, let's go to the ball game. Let's go do this. Let's go play. Let's go
Mhm.
have fun. And it's all active. It's in that yin yang thing. We've talked about this before.
Yep.
That's in doing mode. You're actually still doing even when you're not doing. You think you're relaxing, but you're actually super active all the time, right?
Yeah.
And so when they say
Mhm.
just stop and do nothing, um, it's actually hard to do, right?
Yeah. Oh, totally. I mean, usually I'm sitting there, I may be doing, um,
Grading
no more
papers or
grading.
yeah,
Yeah, me, I'm not grading papers anymore. I was like, "Oh, don't grade papers." But
yeah,
if I'm doing like some stuff for swim, I'm,
yeah,
typing up, rosters or
yeah,
figuring out who still owes dues or this and that. But I'm watching TV and going like, okay, and kind of, watching,
yeah,
doing both,
yeah,
multitasking.
yeah,
Like, no,
yeah,
I just stopped. I said,
yeah.
stop, you
Well,
know?
that's a beautiful
So,
thing. So one of, I think one of your qualities that's kind of cool that hopefully people can learn from is number one, you have a really strong wolf pack of people that love you and care about you, right? The
yep.
other thing though is that you actually listen to them. How many people would
Mm-hmm.
say, "Hey, really ought to take it easy for a couple of days. Here's what I want you to do." And they go, "Okay, cool. Thanks, bud. Peace." And then just ignore it,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, that
Yeah.
is really, really common. I can imagine even people listening to what we talk about and go, "Oh, that sounds cool," and then never actually do any of the homework. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They never actually
Mhm.
try to implement something. And it takes the implementation of an idea into your body, right? They
Yeah.
talk about that in spiritual texts of, context of, the lived experience. We can talk about God, talk about Jesus, we can talk about salvation, we can talk about all those things, and they're just mental concepts until you've embodied them, until they become
Mhm.
part of who your beingness is. They've
Uh-huh.
penetrated and transformed within you that whether that becomes that peace that passes all understanding. And it doesn't matter whether it's and that's where I get it doesn't really matter if it's, that Christian framework. It can be anything, but you have to embody it, right?
Mhm.
And
Yes.
so when you're listening to a friend and you trust them and they care about
Mm.
you and it's coming from that place and you say, you know what, I'm going to try that, and
Mhm.
then you embodied it, right? You literally did it.
Yeah,
You
yeah, that
felt it,
night I
and you
jumped in.
felt it, and you did it for a couple of days. You said, you know what,
Mhm.
this shit's working.
Yeah. Wow.
you know uh,
Which I respected Michael's point of view, but now, oh, wow, okay, he does know what he's saying. Not
yeah,
that I didn't, but yeah.
you didn't just go, hey, that's an interesting idea, thanks, and then ignore it. You said, I'm
Yeah.
going to embody that, I'm going to implement it, I'm going to practice the practice, I'm
Mhm.
going to see what it does in my body and notice how it affects me, and you notice the benefit of it, and so you
Yeah.
continue with it, right? So there's a lot, to me, that's a pretty, um, worthwhile experience to share with people, because so many times we hear stuff, and especially in the spiritual communities, people think that the next teaching is gonna be the one that fixes everything for them.
Yeah.
So they think,
It's
"Oh, if I
yeah.
get this sermon, that'll do it, and then I don't have to do anything. I just heard that, and
Mhm.
that's supposed to switch everything for me." Right? But it's like,
Yeah.
"No, no, 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 that ain't how it works," you know? You gotta take that, contemplate it, right?
Mhm.
Sit with it, meditate on it, contemplate it, allow it to penetrate your beingness, change how you behave and how you think and how you are with it, work with that teaching, and then that teaching will transmute within you your beingness, and then all of a sudden you're healed or you're different, right? But
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
process is not just, listening's a part of it, paying attention's a
Mhm.
stage, right?
Yeah, that's a
But it's
big part of it.
it's a big part of it. I'm not saying it's not, right?
Mhm.
You have to get these ideas from somewhere, but
Yeah.
then you have to turn within and say, okay, I'm going to work with this, but I choose to practice this teaching.
Mhm.
And that's
And
one of,
just to notice what's going on. You have to
yes.
notice it first. Go like I noticed, like, wow, I'm overloading. Something's not good. And my brother, when he started saying stuff, not to be angry at him, I was like, I just can't do this, Bob. Stop. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm not angry at him because that's what I want to do, but I can't do it right now. So I notice, okay, something's not good. I
Yep.
got to work on something.
Yep.
And my indirectly, because I did not say, oh, I need to stop doing so much, blah, blah, blah. My brain said, God, I'm overloaded. I'm doing too much.
Yep.
Oh, wait, I just told myself
Yeah.
I'm overloaded. I'm doing too
Yes.
much.
Yeah.
Let me do this.
Yeah.
So the first step is to notice it,
Yep.
then to have that wolf pack and say, hey, guys, this is where I am.
Yep.
Because they're going to be checking in on you. And
And the
there's,
beautiful thing
listen,
was they checked
mhm,
in on you. You didn't even have to ask per
no.
se, right? They were
Hmm.
checking in on you, which is again, um, you already have a fully developed, beautiful, loving, caring, compassionate, empathetic wolf pack that,
Hmm. I have several of
and,
them, which is kind of
you have
cool.
you have a good sized wolf pack, I think, right? Some people
Hmm.
don't, right?
Yeah.
Um, they may have to actually reach out or pay more attention on their own or whatever, or just, implement some of the things we're talking about, even if they're just on their own and they don't wanna reach out to somebody, just say, "Okay, you know what?" But becoming aware of how you are, that's
Yes.
that's huge, I always say awareness is
Hmm.
the first step, but it's just the first step. In other
Yeah.
words, people say, "Ah, gee, I realize I'm not happy." Okay, that's huge because most of
Yeah.
us are just going to remote control, but that's just the first step, right?
Yeah. Because you just keep going, going, going. This is the way it
That
is.
yeah,
Like, whoa, so wait a minute.
that opens the
Yeah.
doorway, "Hey,
Yeah.
okay,
Hmm.
maybe I could be better. Maybe I could feel better than I do right now. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
stressed." I realize, you know what? I am stressed all the time. That's how I just my default mode, how I go through life is I'm in anxiety constantly. And the realization of that state, which is what you just were talking about there, was you realized, "Hey, I'm kinda stressed out right now. I'm wigging out a little bit. I'm"
Hmm.
you know, I'm in heart math, I was talking about that heart-based thing. They call that,
Yeah.
resilience. Um, you're building up a resilience when you're connected to the heart and mind and all that, that there's a
Hmm.
resilience that happens, right? And that's what you were saying. Normally, I could do a lot of these things and I'd be okay. Right now,
Totally.
it feels
Hmm.
overwhelming to me, right? So there's that
Hmm.
awareness of this lack of resilience that you might normally have a level of resilience and you don't right now.
Yeah.
And so that's a beautiful
Totally.
thing, right? Because you're
Hmm.
honoring that. You're looking at yourself and saying, "Hey,
Hmm.
doesn't matter. Well, I should be able to do this, and I'm just gonna force my way through it, and I don't know what's my problem is, but I'm gonna push through," which is very typical for a lot of us, right? We
Hmm.
think we ought to be able to. We should all over this. Isn't that what they call it? Shouldn't all over yourself.
Yeah. Shouldn't all over yourself. Yeah.
You're shouldn't all over yourself. I should be able to do this. I shouldn't, it shouldn't be a problem. I should, So then you just push through things, and that's when people
Which
bury
is like,
things.
yeah, it shouldn't be a problem, but guess what? It is.
It is
So
exactly
step
accepting
into
what
the
is.
moment, accept it. Yeah,
Yes.
and that's that big thing. And we'll talk. I'll talk about it more down the road too. But the first thing is to notice. But then before you have to get to there, start looking for a wolf pack if you don't have one. That
Yeah.
group. Like I've got a lot of friends. I've got a ton of friends. Not all of them are my wolf pack.
Yeah.
A wolf pack is that small, tight knit group that's gonna like they're there.
Yeah.
Like Michael. I never thought of him as my wolf pack, but he has become a wolf pack because
Mhm.
we do our little morning talks. He's there early, I'm there early,
Mm, mhm.
and we become a wolf pack
Mhm.
ourselves. And just him coming in and saying, "Hey, how you doing?" And me just being able to say something. He's like, "Hey, I got something on you."
Yeah, because you've
You
also
know,
coulda said, "I'm fine," and
yeah,
walked on,
I'm good. I'm
you
out.
know?
I'm
Yeah,
busy. Leave me alone.
yeah,
So just find look around if you don't have anybody or if you have some friends, go like, is that the person I could sit and just really make that phone call, say, I need something right now.
yeah,
Or just listen to me.
yeah,
And
reaching out.
they may not have an answer. It's just
Yeah,
like they're just there to help.
yep.
And I'll say on that total flip side, um, my buddy Dan Dodge, God bless you, Dan Dodge. You know Dan,
Mhm.
my buddy from
You
school
said he's now a
from
vice principal or something?
Yeah, he's assistant principal.
Did
Yeah,
I
whoop,
was
whoop.
almost gonna say in the last episode, did he go to the dark side? Is that what that
He
is?
went to the dark side. He'll say he went to the dark side. So,
I was gonna interrupt the last episode when you
yes.
said that. I didn't I kept my mouth shut, so now I'm throwing it out this time. I'm
Yeah,
like, "Oh,
yeah,
he flipped."
yeah. Yes, Daniel. Daniel, I didn't say it. Sheldon said it. You're on the dark side. I didn't say it, Daniel. Sorry. No, I said it too because he's a good dark side. I'm telling you. And so
Bring in
he's
the
now
light. He's gotta
he's
bring
in
the
the
light into the dark.
yep, exactly. And people are excited that he's at North again. He's back at North, and so he's the dean. So dean of students, APSS, assistant principal of student success, which is the dean, security, all that fun stuff. So it's not like oh, it's a and so he got to a level, and we've been talking about it. He's like, I'm just this is so much, so much, so much. And what was it Thursday? Thursday night. Thursday, I don't do anything. I come home, I eat, I get ready for bed, I go to bed because I'm up at 3:30 in the morning to go to practice by 5:30. I got to get in there, do my workout, set up, and then practice starts at 5:30. So there's no going out. There's no. Leave me alone. Everybody knows Thursday's very taboo. So I was over at my stepmom's, seeing if she needed some. We were supposed to get some paperwork for dad to sign. I didn't come in, so Daniel had called, and I heard the stress mode going on about God, I'm here. I got to help my stepmom. I mean, there's two. How could I split myself? I couldn't. I go, hey, I'm here doing stuff with my stepmom. Sorry, I need to go look at her mailbox and see if the paperwork came in. 'Cause God forbid my stepmom all day long ever go to the mailbox. Um, had all day to do it because she's retired,
That's another
not
episode.
working. Yeah, oh my gosh. So it's my mom was the same way, dad the same way. He's like, okay, sorry you're so busy. Other than that, so I went down the mailbox and there was only two pieces of junk mail, and so I came back. I said, yeah, there's nothing there. And she goes, you want to sit? They were playing some games, her and some friends. I said, no, actually, my friend called, and I think I need to go have dinner with him. I think he needs something. So I called right back. I said, "Hey, Daniel," I go, "We didn't get the paperwork. I'm not going to sit down. I'd rather let's go eat. You need to eat." He goes, "Where do you want to eat?" And I go, "Wherever you want to go." He goes, "Let's go to the middle. Let's go Stapley." He goes, "What about some burrows on Baseline and Stapley?" I go, "We can do this and catch this." It was great on his point. I go, "The hub's right there. If you want to get a bite and a beer, if you need a beer." He goes, "No, beer wouldn't be good for me right now." He knew I'm going down the hill, and this beer is not going to help me go up the hill.
Yeah.
I was like, cool. See you at Symboros. I just suggestion. I don't care. Food's food for me. Um, and so we get there, and he was just so stressed. And I was like, I just need to sit and be with my friend because he did the same thing for me when I went through the divorce. Just sit there, and we sat there, and he's talking about stuff. Just started calming down. And by the end, we were laughing, cracking jokes. And next thing he goes, "Thank you." And I said, I'm just repaying the favors, brother. So, and it was so he noticed. So I noticed that someone in my wolf pack was stressing, and I said, okay, I need to take this moment, give up my time at home. I didn't get home till 9 o'clock. Like,
Mhm.
time to go to bed.
Yeah.
Oh man, past my
Yeah.
bedtime now.
That's my
But
bedtime, yeah.
I'm okay with it because it was like I'm
Yeah.
there helping this person. You push things and do things. So that's a whole other side of
Well, it's
knowing when
also like
someone's in stress.
you're also talking about like priorities, right? Sometimes your
Hmm.
personal priorities and your priorities for your family and your loved ones take precedent.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes you can say, you know what? I can give up an hour of sleep for this guy.
Yeah.
This is my wolf pack. It's,
Hmm.
like you said, so that's a beautiful thing, but it's also that being aware of what your priorities are and who is a priority in your life,
Hmm.
and having all of that stuff sort of thought out or organized in your own mind a little bit, not necessarily like you have to write it all out, right? But you're living like your values of what matters to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And this wolf pack is important to me. These are my friends that are my key friends. If it's some other casual friend, you might not have worried about it so much. You know what
At
I
that
mean?
point, yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I gotta go. Sorry,
exactly.
I'll talk to you later kind of thing. But,
Hmm.
not with that particular person. That's a person that
Hmm.
they wouldn't be reaching out, number one, all that kind of stuff. So you're paying attention to all of those signs. And you're aware, you're awake enough, and you're conscious. You're not in remote control. And this is one of the things that
Yes.
I like to say when you meditate and you can watch your thoughts and you can become a witness of your life and your things trans flowing through your mind stream, and you learn how to sort of witness from that detached place. Buddhism call that non-attachment, right? That ability to witness. You can pick and choose, right?
Yeah.
You can witness
Hmm.
those thoughts from almost like a neutral space, and you can just choose what you decide what you're going to act on, right?
Hmm.
Because you could have
Yeah.
chosen to ignore the call. You could have chosen. You say, you know what, this one I need to take. This one
Yeah.
I need to respond to. Um, and that's just
Exactly. Then.
being more aware. Not again. So many of us are living our lives in this remote control kind of framework where something happens, we react, something happens, we react, and we're not very conscious. We don't take that half a breath moment to just pause, reflect, think about it,
Hmm.
you know, connect
Yeah.
if we need to. Because sometimes you need to actually do a quick meditation or breathe a couple breaths, right? To connect and then clear the mind a little bit and then move forward from that place.
Yeah. And it's hard.
Yeah.
I'm not
Totally.
lying to you, man. This freaking sucks having to go through the process. And I'll tell you, this whole week, I could do 6 episodes on this week, and I only went to school, work 5 days. 5 days. Um, the
Yeah.
so one of the days I went in and I had my little flash drive right on top of a piece of paper, which is my book order. Oh, this is Wednesday because I had the meeting. So I had the flash drive, which had very important information on it, right on top of my book orders, which I had due on Friday. And so I walk in, and I'm like, where's my flash drive? I'm like,
Nice start to the day, right? Where's the
and
flash
they're like,
drive?
where's the flash drive? I'm like, so in my brain, because I'm still in that overload, so I'm like, okay, decompartmentalize or whatever. I'm like, okay, where would it? Is it in my drawer? No, it's not in my drawer. My drawer was a little bit of a mess. Okay, I'm like, no, there's 6 other USBs that are in there, but they're all in little boxes. So I go over to the other computer, which is the big screen TV, not there. I'm looking, and so then I go into that anger mode. Who took my freaking flash drive? Because my area is open. People take everything from our desks.
Yeah.
Unless it's locked down, it's gone.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, sorry, people, I'm just going on a soapbox. I look up and there's my little Sparky, ASU Sparky bobblehead. And he's like this. He's holding up his pitchfork and he's always looking at you. I look at him and he's like this.
Oh, somebody broke his head.
I'm like, what's wrong
Oh.
with Sparky? That's not good. So now I'm already up a level
Yeah.
or two. And I'm like, I look at it. His legs were broken and glued back. His head was broken and glued back incorrectly. Um,
Wow.
as one friend said, if you're going to break it and glue it back, don't do it so shittily. I'm like, oh, that's a good word. I like that word. I like to use that later. But I'm like, are you kidding me? This twice. Okay, I can't handle one of these things right now in
Yeah.
my brain
You're
mode,
like, people.
and I'm because everything's due Friday. I'm like, and I was already behind a little bit. I'm going like that whole hour of looking for this flash drive, yeah, whatever USB.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and a teacher, IT guy comes in. He goes, "Yeah, got the new TVs working. Yeah, it looks great." I go, "Yeah," and we're talking about something. He goes, "Yeah," and those are run by because they were showing the PowerPoint I had on my screen behind me. And he goes, "Yeah, those are run by a computer that's behind that other wall." Others being run simultaneously, all three.
Mhm.
I'm like, "Wait a minute." My brain goes, "Uh oh, if that's my PowerPoint and it's not run by that TV, which has my PowerPoint, that disk, that USB is sitting somewhere
In
behind
that
that
other
wall."
room.
Went near the room, and there
Yeah.
it is, stuck in the computer. And so I will say, Jorge, love you, brother. He's our head IT guy. Came in, sat down, he goes, "I'm so sorry." He came in, apologized. He goes, "It's my fault." He goes, "I took it, copied it, I put it in there, and I saved it, and I forgot to bring your flash drive back. It's my fault." So he owned up to it right away,
Yeah. Yeah.
and which is cool. But it was so that all was going on, and so it's like ah. But then I quickly just said, "Stop, calm down." I mean, Sparky, nothing you can do about Sparky. I'm not happy.
Yeah.
Nothing I can do. Got the flash drive. Let's have the meeting and move forward.
Yeah.
So it kind of put me a little behind in the day. And then one more situation. Cheer uses, love you, Alicia. You're okay to use it. Alicia Perry, Cheer, they use the library now for cheer practice because we don't have any facilities because everything's taken. I'm like, yeah, why not? It's inside. It's cool. Got a big old, you can throw them and they're not going to hit the ceiling. And so they move the tables every day. And so I have a little bit of OCD.
Put the tables
What do you
back
call it?
where they were.
Type A. I even have a little black tape where it's
Or
supposed to
yeah,
go.
we talked.
You
Yeah.
know, yeah. But that's kind of hard when they're in a rush mode. To me, I can sit there and put them there. They're in a rush mode to get done, get out of there.
Yeah.
So I've come in a couple days. I'm like, what? I go, oh, that's right. Cheer. Okay, whoa. So I'm going to put a little blue tape down. Like here's an X. The table goes right in the middle of that. Chairs go around it. Just so
Yeah.
it's going to be a little just
Easier.
yeah, make it easier for them because I want them to be in there. And so I go, okay, this is Thursday. I go, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna move this all around today. And I sat there and started doing it. And I sat on the table early. I go, I don't need to do this right now. This is bugging me because I want to get it done. I want to help the girls. I want to help me. But I'm looking and I'm just slow. It's like I'm in very slow motion. I'm like, I can do that tomorrow or Monday. I don't need to do it today. Let's get the other stuff done because you're going to freak out about the book order if you start doing this and spend an hour and a half doing this. Is it going to matter today? Look around and go, no, it's all fine. Kids are going to sit. Kids are going to sit. So I put the chairs back at that one table, went back, started my book orders, and I'm fine. So come Monday morning, I know that I will do that because my book order is already in.
Mhm.
So Monday morning, I'll come in, I'll start moving them, I'll put my blue tape, and we're all good to go. So it's I've done a lot of recognizing. Yes, I turned 60. I'm finally getting used to this now. I'm recognizing, whoa, this is an overload.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Do I need to worry about who cares where the chairs are? So
Yeah.
the table's a little bit closer than what you want.
Yep.
Is it functional? Then figure that out and then come back to that. Now, if that's a problem where they're all squished together, then I got a problem.
Yeah.
But they weren't. And so,
And I think that is one of the most powerful results of meditation is the under of the not even the mental understanding, because we say again that's the mental concept, right? But the lived
mhm,
and embodied experience that we are not our thoughts.
mhm,
So we can choose to pay attention to a thought or not. And that is so fundamental. I always say it's kind of like prayer hands, you know? It's like here's this beingness, this you, this conscious awareness that's you, and then here's the thoughts streaming by.
mhm,
And we think that we are our thoughts, that they're one, that the thought and you are the same. That I always say that I think therefore I am is total bullshit, right? It's like
mhm,
there's an I am presence through which thought arises and passes. Um,
mhm,
but the thinking doesn't make the you, the I amness, right? The I amness precedes that the thought. So
mhm,
uh, when we meditate and learn how to witness the thoughts, like I said before, we can choose and pick which thoughts we pay attention to, but they become less sticky
mhm.
as well. And
Yeah.
that is literally documented in the neuroscience of the brain and meditation and stuff like that. And there's books on that. And that's the term they say the thought becomes less sticky. In other words, you can say, as much as it kind of bugs me right now, I got other things I got to do. Right. So you're prioritizing that and you're saying, and that OCD thing, which I have too.
Mhm.
Everybody in the body shop world has some degree of it. I always say that it's our superpower, right? Because some part of a car looks weird and it's not lined up right, or the thing, when it's damaged, it's all out of a whack, and then when it's back and everything's pretty and beautiful because it's right where it belongs, and your brain will explode if something's not where it belongs,
Mhm.
and so it becomes a superpower because then you notice, like,
Yeah.
and a lot of times the paint, ooh, that paint's not quite right, or that the door's out of alignment, or this, and your brain will like literally just explode. Like you walk by the car and you'll he's like, whoa, what was that? You don't even have to be paying attention. So that OCD thing becomes a superpower in my world of the cars, fixing cars, right?
Mhm.
But you also have these places where it can become a hindrance. Like I don't need to do that now. And
Mhm.
there are many people who would not have been able to do what you've done,
And
right? They would be
no.
so compulsive that they can't let go
Mhm.
of that thought, and that thought owns them. Does that make sense? So
Totally.
then
And yeah.
you are owned by your thoughts, not
Mhm.
you control you are, and I don't even like to say the word control, but you have the power to decide whether to act on a thought or not, right? You
Correct.
choose, you
So
know?
in the intangible soul talking about that cloud going by. we talked
The
about that
Untethered
cloud.
Soul with,
Untethered
Michael
soul.
Singer, yes? Yep.
Yeah, the cloud going by, it
Mhm.
talks about it in the book. So understand people. I read this book 8 years ago, 10 years ago, whenever it
More
was,
than 10, yeah.
and it's coming into life, now that I'm
Mhm.
so I just as you're talking, Sheldon, just realized when I was sitting there on that table, looking at the table, going like, "Do I do this now or do I not?" That was a cloud sitting there, and I could
Yeah.
have acted on that cloud and said, "Oh, do it now, do it now, do it now." It's like, "No, let that go right now. Let that
Yep.
pass by."
100%.
And I totally now that I'm sitting here feeling really cool and weird and have, you know,
Dave's proud of
goosebumps, I
himself.
guess. I'm not going the
Yeah.
goosebumps are coming going like, "Wow, that was really what that book was talking about." I
And
let that
even
cloud go.
yeah, even more I think even before the thought there was the irritation with the alignment of the chairs. That's
Mhm.
also like a thought, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the first
Mhm.
thing, is just like, I don't like how these things are lined up. And that can feel primal, and it triggers OCD things, and so many of us cannot walk away from those things. They
Mhm.
will drive you bonkers, right?
Yep.
And the ability to sit and just witness, okay, I have this desire to move everything now,
Mhm.
right? And then you're witnessing everything that's coming up from that initial trigger, and then deciding to, okay, I'm going to let this all go for now because I got something else that is more important right now. That's huge.
Yeah.
Again, like you
Now
said, that it's a witnessing of the process of thoughts arising within the field of your awareness, deciding to let this one pass at this point, choosing not to get stuck in that thought, right?
mhm.
Because you can, and I do all the time. So it's not like it's something there are certain things where you're just like, I
Yeah.
gotta do it now, and I'm just gonna do it now, or it's gonna bug me. And then there are times where
Mhm.
you're like, you know what, I don't need to do this right now,
I need to do
and
it.
that's what you did. That's kind of cool,
Yeah.
dude.
And it was
That's mastery as far as I'm
and
concerned,
oh,
because
man, that
you
was I felt so like, wow. Walked away from it, and I will tell you, as I was sitting on the table doing all that stuff, Mr. Toasty walks in. He's one of the aides, and for classrooms, he's there early too. And I'm sitting on that table, and he walks in and looks at me. He goes, "Thinking hard." So he could tell I was just going, just sitting there contemplating. He's like
yeah.
thinking a little hard. I'm like, wow, I guess I am. but it was, but it was kind of cool. And again, another one of those things is like, uh, so like with Alicia Perry, she's the cheer coach. Love her to death. Love you, Alicia. If you listen, um, and she's trying to make things best for her kids.
Yeah.
And she's always said, "What do I need to do to make sure this works?" And I said, "I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it." And I told her I put blue tape down. This is like a week or two ago. Well, life took effect,
Mm,
with dad stuff, and so I never got to it. And I'm like, yeah, that's not where they're supposed to go. But you know what? The kids are putting at least they're putting in the back.
yeah.
I'm like, hey, good job,
That's right.
ladies. Thank you, man. And they're making it look so much. I'm like, hey, looks pretty good to me. I mean,
Yeah.
not like it's like way off base.
Yeah.
And so Alicia, please keep using the library. If you're listening to this, please keep listening, and do the library. I'm okay with it. But that's the thing that she and I have already worked together on,
Mhm.
to where it's not like, why is she doing this? It's like, no, we've already had that conversation. It's like, this is where we're going to go.
Yeah.
It wasn't yesterday, it wasn't last week, but maybe it'll be the next week that we'll finally get this together.
Yep.
It's a process.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I tell you what, I feel so much better and relaxed. And this week I've enjoyed work. Okay, if I can say that. I go in and it's just like I'm more happy, talkative while I'm
Mhm.
doing this stressful stuff. I'm
Yeah.
still okay now. So, and people, I'm gonna tell you, as I talk about this stuff, this is not something that happened overnight. And I was like, hey, I'm gonna read this book, and oh, it's so wonderful. This is like you were saying, that one sermon. Whoop, yeah, oh, I got this.
Yeah.
It's like, no, this is a lifetime of just realizing stuff, and I hope that as you hear us talk, like, wow, that really worked for them. I need to start this. It may happen to you in a week. I don't
Yeah.
know. It may take five
Yeah.
years. I don't know. But as you go through the process, at least you start noticing things. And
Mm.
as you start noticing things, you start fixing things. And like you said about meditation, as I do my meditations kind of, in the mornings and in the evenings, when I sat there on that
And
table,
and and
that's
literally
what I
that
did.
and literally that breath can be a meditation. So I
Yeah.
think that the idea that meditation
Mhm.
has to be, oh, let me light some incense and turn some freaking, gong and do a gong and a chime. And that's a beautiful thing if that's your practice, right? Again, I don't have a
Exactly.
problem with that. But the ability to incorporate that state, that meditative, quiet state into
Mhm.
everything that you're doing, no matter where you are, no matter what's going on, that is where it becomes a benefit to your life. And it can be as simple as let me just sit here and take a quick breath.
Yeah. Which
Bam.
is what I did on that table. I just
Mm. Yep.
looked around and said, "Okay." So be willing to take that moment, even
Yep.
though it may seem weird that you're sitting there doing nothing,
Yep.
but you're letting your brain kind of relax and meditate and go, "Okay, ground yourself.
Yep.
What's important here right now?"
So,
Boom.
and
Yeah.
and I know I've said it before. I call it the pattern interrupt, right? Because
Mm.
we have these
Yes. Pattern.
habituated patterns in our
Pattern
brain.
interrupt.
A
Yep.
stimulus happens and we react unconsciously, right? So it's like bam, bam,
Mhm.
right? It's that Pavlovian response. It's instantaneous. It's subconscious. You're not even thinking about it, right? So how do you make these things conscious within your awareness so that you can choose and pick from a place of quiet, which is power. So this is about re-empowering you to make decisions that are in alignment with what you actually want, right? So you can say,
Mhm.
"Hey, I'd rather get the book order done today." You know, this isn't
Yeah.
the priority, and you're not at the mercy of these OCD complexes because you're stuck in your thought and you can't release the thought, right?
Mhm.
So, um, uh, taking the ability to interrupt that reactive pattern with a breath is all
Mhm.
it
Just
takes
one breath is
sometimes.
all it took.
Sometimes that's all it
Mhm.
takes, right? Again, like you said, that's years of practice, right?
Yeah.
That happen
Yes.
overnight, right? Might take longer for other people, right? When you're just starting this whole thing, but that ability to just kind of take a deep breath and, whew, okay, let me think about this. That already is a pattern interrupt because most of the time, those hair trigger reactions are something happened in your boom. It's you already did whatever your
And
reaction is. It's
yeah.
instantaneous. If you can break that, stop that. That is huge, and that's the awareness and all those other things. Um, I always
Yeah.
say
And
that,
don't
everything we
don't
d
go ahead.
go ahead.
You go ahead. No, you go
I
ahead.
always say that everything that we do is an addictive pattern, that,
Mhm.
and for me, I think that getting through or learning about so many of these patterns in your mind, part of the reason that I was able to do it was because I was a drug addict.
Mhm.
Because I
Mhm.
was doing, hard, real drugs, right? And seeing what it was feeling. I had already gone through a meditative practice beforehand, and then I was doing all these drugs and I was getting addicted to them, and I could see the addictive pattern. And so then when I got out of that and I was doing the Course in Miracles and I was really paying attention to how my mind worked, and I was like, wow, that's no different. You
Mhm.
need to do this certain thing at this certain time because that's what I wanna do or whatever that
Mhm.
pattern is, or somebody says something, I'm gonna be offended. That's a habituated pattern. That is an addictive response. It's a trained
Mhm.
response in your brain, and it can be changed and it can be released. Um, takes awareness,
Take time.
like we said.
Yep.
First thing is you gotta be
Mhm.
aware that you have that thing that's happening. Um
Notice it.
you
Mhm.
gotta break the pattern somehow, right? That's where
Mhm.
they say just set the drink down or whatever, stop, get out of the bar, break the pattern of, oh, if I always drink too much when I go to a bar, stop going to a bar. That's a
Mhm.
pattern interrupt, right? You're
Mhm.
interrupting those things. Um, and we have to be able to do pattern interrupts in our mental psyche in daily life. And
Yeah.
again, it can be a small thing like just take a deep breath and pause for a second, right? But that
Yeah.
interrupts that boom, and it gives you the opportunity to choose differently, right?
Mhm.
And that's
Yep.
power, and that is
And
personal power.
yeah, and then you're talking about addiction, pattern is an addiction, what we do. Change that pattern, and guess what? Taking that breath is now your new addiction.
Mhm.
So you're like,
Your new habituated response.
habituate, that's the word,
Mhm,
habituated response. Okay, now
mhm.
ooh, this is going on, I'm gonna take a breath.
Yep,
Oh, I didn't realize that. That's
yep,
because you're starting to do that more and more. Well, believe
exactly.
me, I didn't do that 5 weeks ago when I got mad about something. So I needed that interruption. And I
Sometimes we
didn't
wish
take
we had
that.
done the interruption when we did it, right? So none of us are
Exactly.
perfect at this thing, right? So
So oh, man, totally.
just because 'cause we're
So
talking about it doesn't mean we're, like, perfected any of this stuff, right? It's all a
no.
practice. It's all a journey, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we're not perfect. We're
But the
awesome,
better you
but we're
get
not
at it, the
perfect.
happier you will be.
Yes.
That is a fact.
That is
I
true,
I
true,
just got
true.
a call from a friend,
Mhm,
um, who, uh, as he's been kind of quieting his own mind and coming to greater levels of peace, he's actually, Tom, if you're listening, which I'm pretty sure he's not, but if he were, love you, brother. But he sees the light. He's literally seeing colors. And this is one of the things that all the spiritual teachings are saying, that there's different colors are going to come in. People that die and they have these near death experiences say the colors on the other side are so vibrant they make this world look like it's dull. Like
Mm.
even the brightest colors in our planet right now are dull compared to what they see on the other side. He's starting to see those lights. They're coming
Oh,
into
really?
his daily life, and he'll talk to people. Are you seeing that? You see how amazing that blah blah blah? And people won't see the colors that he's seeing.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm like, you
No
gotta stop.
way.
You gotta stop talking. People are gonna think you're fucking nuts, dude. Just shut your mouth. because
Wow.
that's the seers, right? They could see different spectrums of light that we couldn't see. The aura around your body, the energy fields, stuff like that. And he's starting to awaken to that stuff. But also part of what he was just texting me literally yesterday, and he was just like, his sponge had an image on his sponge. His kitchen sponge looked like the image
Really?
of the Holy Spirit descending, a heart opening,
Wow.
stuff rising, and he was seeing all of beautiful, deep, profound imagery in his sponge.
Wow.
and he and this is not a guy that if you ever met him in a million billion years, you would think would
Mhm.
be like this. Okay? Like, it's not, it's not coming in that stereotypical package of talking about divine light, Holy Spirit, and all this kind of stuff. He's not. It's like when
Uh-huh.
Bobby will start talking about that. That's the level of what we're talking about. Okay,
Mm.
this is a dude.
Okay.
Jacqueline would say, "This is a lad's lad, man." And uh, but that's what happens. That's part of the happening as you start to quiet the mind and open the heart and all of this stuff, is you see the beauty in the simplest things. And that's
Yeah.
kind of what I was wanting to say. He was seeing the beauty of a sponge, literally, and
Mhm.
being almost in awe of what he was seeing in the sponge. And, he
Wow.
sent me a picture of a sunrise the other day, and he was like, dude, check that out. Unbelievable. You know what I mean? And being able,
Mhm.
as you quiet your mind, as you uh, um, release yourself from some of those habituated addictive mental patterns and habits, as we do these practices, the anxiety level goes down, and what happens is you've just become happier in the simplest of moments, right?
Mhm.
You can
Yeah.
laugh easier, and you
Yeah.
see, wow, that's beautiful. That whatever. Look at how that, light's reflecting on the door handle or whatever. It doesn't have to be something
Mhm.
special. It
The
could be
the
something
beauty in
incredible
beauty in little things.
in the
Just that
mundane
little bit of
little
beauty. Yeah.
things. Yep.
Mhm.
Um,
Yep.
and that's the fun part about it, right? Is
Yeah.
everything becomes beautiful. Uh,
Yeah.
uh,
That's the quieting of the mind. That's again that
mhm,
one thing we talked about quieting the mind because all that stuff going on. I mean, there's
that
I don't even know
chatter.
how many billion, yeah, that chatter going on in there. But if you calm your mind, it just kind of allows you to say, okay, calm it down. Like, oh wow, look at that. Rather than hear the, you're like,
Yep.
oh wow, look at that
Yep.
beautiful
Yep.
rose over there. That's got a different petal than the other ones. That's kind of
Mm,
cool, or whatever.
yep.
The color of it,
Yep.
or something. So you just
Ec-
notice things differently.
yeah.
So
Eckhart Tolle wrote that whole book called The Power of Now. Now being
mhm,
present moment awareness, right?
being present.
You know,
Yep.
and
That's what we talked about last week too, just being present of where you
yep.
were. It was what receive what's going on, set your boundaries, and just be present so that you
Yep.
can say, okay, I'm here. I'm not worried about there. I'm not worried about there. I'm worried about here. What is this? What's happening here? And listening to what's going on in the present
Yep.
and not being somewhere else. So yeah, I hope you all get something out of this and understand that it takes time, but you can do it because I was in awe of myself being able to go through some of this stuff, going like, "Wow, that worked pretty well." Oh, that's because I did that, that, and that way
Yeah.
back then.
That's because I
So,
practiced this for 10 years.
yeah. By the
Hey.
way, thank you, Sheldon Joe, for helping me. 'Cause he was the one that got me to do all this. So way back in the day, and who would have thunk that we would be doing this podcast talking about
Right,
something
right.
he just helped me get through my divorce. So, so it
You
does
think about
work.
that, that is crazy if you think about it.
Yeah, it is. Oh my gosh.
So I think this is a wrap, right?
Yeah, I got some homework. I got homework. Come on, man. Come on, as teacher. I'm talking about teachers all day with Michael and Alicia and Daniel. I got to do some, and I got kind of two. One, well, first off, find a wolf pack. If you're not in that part yet, work on your wolf pack. Okay, please.
And I think
So
that could start with becoming the wolf pack for somebody else,
yes, good
being in
call.
service.
Excellent.
As you give, you receive, right?
Yes,
So as
I
you pay
totally
attention
agree.
and be present for other people, as you become the support, they will support you.
Hmm.
And it's a
When you
little of
become
both.
someone's friend, they become your friend. When
Mhm.
you're willing, yeah. Oh, I love that, Sheldon. Thank you. Yeah. So look to be someone's wolf pack so
Yep.
that you too can be a wolf pack. Exactly. Um, notice what's going on. If there's something, if you're kind of going through something, notice it and honor it. Just accept what's going on. Don't be angry at it. Just say, "Oh, this is what's going on," um, and then do a pattern interrupt.
Yep.
Take a breath.
Yep.
Okay, so notice it and honor it. Take a breath with a pattern interrupt.
And
Then
that
reach out to
pattern
a wolf
interrupt
pack.
can go for a walk. I'm gonna get up from my
Yes.
desk and walk around, go to the
Hmm.
bathroom real quick, go get it, fill up my water bottle, something that interrupts. If you're at your computer all the time, just get up and walk,
Yep.
sit back
My
down,
dad my dad
take a
always
breath.
says when when you wanna type an email, or it wasn't email back then,
Yeah.
or wanna make a phone call and you're angry, he goes, "Stop, go get a cup of coffee."
Yep.
I said, "No, I don't drink your coffee in the middle of the day, so iced tea."
Okay.
He goes, "Come back, then write your letter."
Yep.
He goes,
That's the
"Or your"
pattern
now
interrupt.
now it'd be email. He goes, and I'm not realizing back in the day when I was a kid or I was in college, he was telling me to do a pattern interrupt.
Mhm.
I'm like, well, that was dad talking to me back in the day. So that's just a pattern interrupt. Just
Yep.
stop. Go get a drink of water. Go get some coffee and come back.
Yep.
In the same building. Yeah. So notice it. Do a pattern interrupt. Reach out to a wolf pack. If you need
Yep.
something, just say, hey, I'm just maybe just go to dinner, or
Yep.
maybe need you to listen. And then um, also listen. If they're talking to you, be willing to listen to what, if you're asking for some help or asking for advice, listen. Or even if you're not asking for it. I didn't ask Michael for advice, but he gave me that advice and that really helped. So be willing to listen to what other people are saying.
And to
Um,
practice, to listen and to
yes.
implement.
Yes. Okay. That's number five. Implement.
Right? Because
And
you have to actually try, like
yes.
you're listening to us. You say, "Oh, that sounds
Hmm.
really cool, pattern interrupt," and you never even try to do a pattern interrupt, it
Hmm.
won't change anything. You have
Yeah.
to be willing to
Yeah.
work with it as a tool, and approach it like that, like a
Yeah.
student learning something new, like you're learning how to do
Hmm.
woodworking, you've never done it before, and you got this new tool in your hand, a chisel. You're gonna have to, you're not gonna be able to carve perfect things out of that
Yeah.
block of wood. You're gonna have to
Mm,
hack away for a little bit, and it won't be as
yeah.
pretty, but
Mm.
be willing to practice with it.
Yeah, I'm 60 years old. I'm learning stuff.
Yeah,
So be willing to, I'm just
yeah,
kidding. And so
right.
I'm going to do the flip side real quick. So that's if you're going through something. Now, if someone in your wolf pack, or if it's your wolf pack, good. If it's maybe someone outside your wolf pack, but if you notice somebody that needs some support, or they've reached out somehow, like when Daniel called, it was like, the bat signal. I need some
Mhm,
help. And at
mhm.
first I ignored it, not ignored it, but I had other stuff going. I couldn't jump. Um, but it's like, okay, that bat signal's out there. I need to go. So be open to that someone may be jumping to you to ask for help,
Yep.
and be willing to give advice, or just listen.
Just
So
being there, right? Giving your
just be there.
attention, right?
Hmm. And that's all I did for Daniel. I just
Yep,
sat there.
yep.
We ate dinner.
Your
He talked.
presence
I talked.
matters. Your
Hmm.
energy matters.
Yeah.
Your
So
presence
know
matters, and
that
people
I don't.
does.
If you ever get down in this world, you think your energy doesn't matter. It does.
Yep,
Somebody out there needs your energy.
yep,
So find
yep,
that. You must find a wolf pack, people. Find somebody, even if
yep,
it's just one person.
yep.
So awesome. Hope you guys have a great week, and hope you guys can put some of this into a little bit of work. If nothing else, just two things: get a wolf pack, and just do a pattern interrupt now and then. Just one little
Yep.
piece,
Yep.
and just it'll eventually grow. So
Awesome. Awesome.
yeah,
There we go. That's
yep.
another episode. Next level real
Yep,
talk. We'll see you guys. Hopefully, we'll get somebody lined up. I've
yeah.
been
I'm working on it
forgetting, but
too.
I've got to
Hmm.
work on getting. I've got a bunch of them in the wings ready to go, or kind of ready. I got to reach out and get the timing going. Um, but thanks
Yeah,
for listening. We love you guys.
yep.
Take
You guys
care.
have a great week. Keep a smile on, and love you.